defend with that planetary fortress up. So he's now sent a couple of marauders to try and clean this up, but warped in some zealots, and I think they actually clean up these marauders. But those marines are going to be a bit of a handful, so I think he's going to be able to clean up this pylon. And then I decide I'm going to try and take out this expansion, throws all the SCVs on there, and with as many units as I have there, they're not able to do more damage than the SCVs are able to repair. As you can see, it's actually gaining life there, so I needed to move back and save as many units as I could. One thing I am doing though right now is dropping his mining time. His economy has taken a huge hit from that. As you see, worker count really low, but his mining time is definitely hurt from that. So he's going to try and move out with a couple of marines, but I've got stalkers there ready to go. I needed to micro this stalker back and try and save him, but didn't get it there. So let's look at the unit loss tab. So I've lost more units more resources than he has, but I've had this expansion up, so I've been able to have more money the entire game. So army supply, my army is much stronger. I did not know that I was in such a high advantage at this point, but as he gets doing smart, dropping 4 mules down there, so his mineral count will skyrocket compared to mine. So right now I'm just trying to get my army back up so that I can have some kind of force in case he tries to push for an attack. He's got these units right here at the high yield, definitely probably trying to make sure that I don't take that. Working on Terran Weapons 1, I highly recommend that, definitely for late game, but even for any game going upgrades. I'm working on the charge myself to try and negate that Marauder slow. He's going to go ahead and send his main orbital to this expansion down here, and never actually going to take his natural expansion. So I'm going to try and push out and get a third base, just because there's not a lot going on. I feel confident in my army right now. I'm going to try and get a third base. Again, not knowing that I was so high ahead in supply. One thing, I did transition into Dark Templars, because he's got one of his bases is a planetary fortress, so he's not going to be able to scan from that. His income is much lower than mine, so most of his energy is going to be spent on mules. So this encounter looked like it was going to go bad, but able to warp in some more zealots to get in there, get into the fray, and take a lot of that brunt of that damage. So I was able to clean this up fairly easy. And I have not worked on any upgrades yet. Charge is almost done. Gonna miss rally some of these units. I'm gonna get some free kills on a few of these, but not many. So back in his base, got 4 barracks. He's not really pulling off of this barracks build. He's just going straight infantry units. Probe waiting to throw the 3rd expansion down here, so he's getting his 2nd expansion up and running now. Sending most of his force, all of his force rallying up here to his pretty much main mining base. He actually is not mining any gas right now, going off of just the 90 gas that he has left. So he's only going to be able to produce, well, he's got some marauders queued up here, so he's going to be able to produce a few units there. So finally getting some gas going. As you can see, his income, his mineral income is higher than mine. My main is mined out, so I'm going to be transferring some probes down to this 3rd expansion kind of prematurely. The expansion is not ready yet, so warp in a few DTs to join that army. I figure with as many zealots as I have, he won't notice that there's a couple of DTs in that army, and I haven't seen any ravens or anything like that, or use of missile turrets, although he did throw the missile turret down there. That was smart of him. So he's going to go for an attack here, try and sweep around and get through this high grass right here where he thinks I won't be able to see it, but smartly I put the pylon there to spot that, so I know that something's happening. And we're going to trade forces here, so I'm going to warp in a Dark Templar to try and hold that for as long as possible. So here comes his push. Those probes are going to be taken out. which is unfortunate. Warp in a few more DTs to try and clean this up, because DTs do a lot of damage to an army like this. And still hasn't scanned. I was lucky in that he didn't start scanning until my Zealots ran into the fray. So those Dark Templars are all still there. All 8 Dark Templars are still there. I am supply blocked. He did take out a good number of pylons there, but my 3rd expansion is now up. So I will be getting some heavy probe production out of there, as well as transferring some probes down there to start mining. So he knows that I've got DTs, so he's going to be throwing up missile turrets around to keep the detection so that he can spot them. Throwing down bunkers. He's definitely trying to turtle here. He's got a few more units in his base. Missile turret to spot the DTs. I've got 8 DTs there, so army size definitely favoring me. So 8 DTs, 18 Stalkers, 6 Sentries, 12 Zealots versus 7 Marauders and 11 Marines. You don't have to be a StarCraft 2 expert to know who has the better hand in that one. Is finally building a factory, though, at his 3rd expansion. Finally deciding to go for a factory. So I'm going to continue to warp in units from this pylon in my 3rd. And I see the command center go down, so I realize, okay, he's down in this base. And catch his units completely off guard here, so get a bunch of free kills there, because he was obviously using the move command as opposed to the attack command. I suggest that everybody do the attack command, which is simply A, and then click on the map or click ahead of you where you want to go, and your units will attack everything that they see that's an enemy in between where they are and the point that they're going to. So it definitely stops you from, it definitely stops any unnecessary unit deaths due to bad rallying. So he's got a few units down here, but I'm going to warp in some DTs to easily clean up these Marauders and Marines. So kind of his kind of big blunder the entire game was not really getting off of that Marine Marauder army. As you can see, he's heavily supply blocked right now. He's got 4 starports in the works. Now this could have been for some kind of Banshee play, maybe get a bunch of medvacs, not really sure. Factory's still sitting here. So this base is completely undefended. So I'm going to be able to come in here and do a lot of damage to this base. Able to cancel 2 of those starports and get some of that resources back. And the units lost tab now in my favor. Going to be able to take out this orbital. He's trying to fly all of his manufacturing buildings over to his planetary fortress, which is now getting close to being mined out. So again, getting close to exhausting your opponent. I'm able to catch these 2 starports in this factory while they're trying to get over there. Their movement speed is 0.94 to the Stalkers 295. So it's easy to know who will win in a race there. Terran buildings do not fly very quickly. So just going to clean up what's left here, and I am supply blocked, but I am way ahead of my opponent here as far as supply goes. He does have the planetary fortress here. Trying to get that down, mass repairing with the SCVs, so I decided that, okay, I'm going to start killing these SCVs. So you need to focus on the SCVs here as opposed to the planetary fortress, because they're just going to keep repairing and repairing and repairing. So these Dark Templars and Zealots are taking out all those SCVs so that I can get that planetary fortress down. So there's the GG from Cuban. Kind of the notes to take home here were, if you're playing Terran, don't get stuck on the Marine Marauder ball. It's a good build, but it's not going to stand up late game. As you can see, those Dark Templars able to easily tear through this army, and I was able to get 2 expansions up. Now this one's all mined out, but easily could have expanded for a 4th. and gotten more bases up to where he was stuck on just this base and just getting this base up. So able to exhaust your being able to exhaust your opponent is very, very helpful. It allows you to just continue to push your advantage, and the longer the game goes, the more advantage you have if you starve out your opponent. So definitely my suggestions for this for after this match is don't get stuck on one build and expand, expand, expand. If it looks like it's going late game, you've got to expand. You can't let your main run out of resources and then you say, oh, okay, now I've got to expand. You've got to expand before that. So this was my third match in the gold ladder in the gold ladder. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and this is SC Southern Style signing out.